pacing back and forth. Oh, I don't understand why you're standing right here. All your shots have scored. No, scratching at the scars you left on my skin. We fight and we fall and we rise through it all till we find what we want, then we lose it all again. Your touch on my skin, pull me close, take me in. Just me, just you, lost in the moment.
Karen, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi! I'm really glad you clicked on this video. I do hope that you will stay and take a chance on this channel and think about subscribing before the end of the video. I get so excited to do these things. So I have been in the mood to do like a prep your face and for beginner foundation and just kind of going over all of that stuff with you guys, and bronzer and blush, all of that. Pretty much a daily routine, not a weekly, a daily routine. So if that's something that you're interested in, then let's get to it. Welcome to Makeup for Beginners and Foundation Prep for Beginners. So I have cleansed my face. I have combination skin, so it's oily in some areas, mostly here, and then dry here. So, and it changes with the season, so that can be tricky when choosing a face wash, but I'll put some on the screen of the face washes that I use. If you have dry skin, there's one that is amazing. It's by First Aid Beauty. I will also put that on here too, because you want to have what's right and tailored to your skin. Okay, so once you've cleansed your face, okay, if you have not used a little razor to get rid of fuzzies, you may want to do that because makeup and skincare sticks to it. The actual skincare will actually absorb better if the hairs are gone. So, okay, I have a video on that too if you'd like to see that. Now we've got a clean face. Grab some cotton balls or a cotton pad. We are going to use a toner. What toner does is it helps rid some of the things that are sticking up from your pores. Have you ever felt your skin and you're like, oh, what's that? You know, like a whitehead falls off. You know, this is another way to test your skin to see if it's dry. If it feels kind of too tight, then you're definitely going to want to pay attention to that because it can cause dryness when you put your foundation on. And I'm just kind of going over, everything feels soft. I have a little bit of texture, so I'm like, okay. Now this is a daily routine. This is not what I do weekly. This is not additional treatments or anything like that. So the first step is to cleanse with the right cleanser for you, and then to find a toner. And if you have rosacea, you may want to, don't use a toner with alcohol. Don't use glycolic acids or anything like that. You want to use something like turmeric, and you can even make a turmeric paste at home. You can mix it with coconut oil, and that will reduce redness on your face. As far as a toner goes, something with cucumber and no alcohol for you. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this Spiros New York Bitter Green Essence Toner. I put some on my cotton pad. I'm going to go over my face with this. It's just anything left behind, any residue from a cleanser or something, anything like that is going to be picked up on the cotton ball. I'm going to use 2 cotton balls. Get a little bit of yellowness. That means that there was something left on my skin. So I don't want to use 1 cotton ball for my entire face because I want it to work as well for the first time on this side of my face, if you know what I mean. It's already got gunk filled with it. You might as well get rid of it and get a new one. Okay, so here we are here. And I'm going to let this dry. And I'm going to go gently close my eye. So I still got a little bit of eye makeup there. And I am so careful when taking off my makeup. I won't rub my skin. Okay, so now that I've done that, the third thing that you want to do is treat your skin. Do you have hyperpigmentation? Do you need brightness? Are you prone to acne? Because if you are, you're going to want to use something like a tea tree oil, a natural antiseptic. It'll help with itching too. And
Okay, it's time for me to go back to voiceover because it's getting loud in my house again. So I'm finishing up with putting that tea tree oil on my face. This stuff is really good if you have oily skin too. There's like a whole line that you can use. I'll put a picture of it on the screen for you. It's by the Body Shop, but it really helps if you've got acne. I would stay away from benzoyl peroxides and things like that. You can actually clear up your skin just by using products that have tea tree oil in them. Okay, so I'm looking at the Clarify serum. It's a hydrating serum, and I'm going to put that, or you could use a little bit of moisturizer. I have the Bosnia near me. What I want to do is combat the dryness that I have on my cheeks and my forehead. So I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of drops of this. I like the oils because they tend to work better than the cream and they don't leave residue behind. Some moisturizers can leave residue behind that can interrupt your foundation. So I'm liking the oils a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up putting this oil on, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Okay, so if you have dry skin, a silicone-based primer will help hold in the moisture. And I've got this new one that I got in the Trend Mood box. It is the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Silicone Primer, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the air pretty much everywhere I can put it. Now this is not going to fill my pores. What this is going to do is help keep the moisture I just laid down in my skin, and it's also going to fight against any breakouts that may want to start after I put on my makeup. So I'm just putting a nice even layer of this on my face, and then I'm going to go in with a pore filling primer. And lately I've been liking the Clinique, and I also use the Benefit Porefessional. Today I'm going to go in with the Benefit Porefessional because I haven't used that in the last few times I've done videos. I've used the Clinique. So I'm going to go ahead and this one's got a light tint to it, and what I do is I press and buff it into my pores. I'm looking for something. What am I looking for? Okay, so I got a little bit on my finger, and here I go with pressing it in. Let me see if I can get closer so you guys can see what it does. Oh, wow. Do you see that difference already off my one cheek to the next? See, when I'm not tan, you can see some of the spots that I have and some of the hyperpigmentation. And that's what I had to battle with when I don't have color on my face. I did stop tanning my face because I've been using glycolic acid treatments. So I will put like Jergens Natural Glow just to go ahead and keep my face from being so white, and the rest of my body is a little bit tan from using a tanning bed. So yeah, here I am using this pore filling primer, and you can see the difference. Even if I don't put foundation on, I don't leave the house without a primer. It keeps the oil soaked up. It keeps my skin a little bit more even. And now I'm going to go in with an eye cream. You need an eye cream if you're over 35. You have to have one. It's a must. You want to make sure that area is nice and moisturized if you're going to be putting concealer or foundation in that area. You do not want things settling into fine lines. But you guys can really see how my skin is different from when I'm not tan. You can see what I have to battle with. This is why I'm constantly looking for ways to improve my skin, which is good because it helps benefit you guys too, because then I get to share what I learned with you, and I get so excited when my skin gets clearer and clearer. It's amazing. All right. I always go back to my Lancome Teint Idol Ultra Wear 24-hour foundation. It's supposed to be full coverage, but it's more of a medium coverage, but it just looks so natural. I am mixing two shades. I have a neutral undertone. So I've got the 260 and the 420, I think it is, and I just mix them together. I'm using my beauty blender to pat them in, or pat it in. Let me see if I can get closer so you can see the coverage. Okay, so we're closer and it is covering. I'm gonna have to make little tweaks here and there to make sure that I find the right combination for the shade match that I need, which is what I do. I just go back and forth between those two colors until I've matched my current shade, which is constantly changing. Okay, let's speed this up and get my entire face covered with one layer of foundation, and then we will move on to see if I need to add any more or if I'm going to go straight to powder. You definitely want to set your face as soon as you can so nothing moves, nothing settles into fine lines, creases, anything like that. You really want to press this into the skin, not drag your beauty blender. It'll definitely make a huge difference. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more foundation where I need a little bit more coverage, as you can see. And again, I'm just pressing everything in. That works so much better than dragging the sponge and sometimes using the brush. Brushes have to be used certain ways, and there are times I will use a brush. I'm just taking a Q-tip and trying to get rid of that last bit of liner I still have in my eyes. I won't rub my eye. I'd rather leave a little bit of liner than rub it. And it seems to want to come off easier hours later or sometimes the next morning, so that's what I do. Okay, so now we're going to do some concealer, I believe, and then we're going to set the face, and I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Brightening Concealer. I've been using this one, and I do like it. At first, I wasn't so crazy about it, but it's all in the way that you apply it. Don't use too much, and make sure you press it into the skin. It is very, very full coverage, and it does brighten up the area a lot. It differs from regular concealers because it has that extra brightening effect. So we're just going to go ahead and press this in everywhere. It's going to get a little bit on my lid. That's fine. I just want to make sure nothing settles into fine lines and it gets completely pressed into my skin. Look at the difference. It's such a beautiful brightening concealer. I think it was like $28. I got it at Sephora. And then what I like to do too is go in with Jaclyn's powders. There's a lot, if you don't have Jaclyn's brightening powders, there's a lot of other brands out there that have like a brightening banana, but not everybody can use a banana powder. They work more for warm skin tones, to be honest with you, because they have a yellow tint to them. I use like the caramel and the almond from Jaclyn's powders, but you can use the KVD cream contour and brightening palette, and they have a yellow shade in there and a pink shade. So if you're a warm undertone, you would use the yellow, and if you're a cool undertone, you would use the pink. But that, like I said, there's a lot out there on the market. You just have to be aware of what your undertone is. Now, if you've got more purple or blue veins in your arm, you would be considered more of a cool. If you have green, you would be considered warm. And if you're not really sure of the colors, usually it's neutral. So I'm going in with Jaclyn's translucent powder. Sometimes I like this powder, sometimes I don't. It has a tiny bit of a luminosity, which if you have large pores can sometimes accent them. It doesn't really blur it. It can kind of, the way the light hits it, it can kind of sometimes make them appear more pronounced. So there are days I will use this and days where I will not use it. It just depends. Because everything you put on your face really does have to work together. Okay, yeah. So I'm going in with the JH01 powder brush, and I'm just making sure what I put on my skin is nice and pressed into the skin. That's why I'm using those motions. My camera actually moved down and I didn't notice it. So this is going to be weird the way that this is angled. I've got a LaRousse brush in my hands and I'm getting ready to put a cream bronzer. I have the NARS in the shade Laguna and I like to apply it with this brush. I just kind of do it straight down. And I'm going to show you how easy this is to do. I mean, if you're going to be pressing stuff into your skin because of large pores, you're going to want to do that with pretty much everything, including the bronzer and the blush. So you see how I'm applying it. We're going to slightly contour the face. I wonder if I can get closer. So you can see the difference on that side of my face where I put the bronzer, and it looks really nice and natural, and it looks lifted. And that's what you want. You don't want it to come down too far, because then it'll look like your face is sagging, you know? And see how I'm pressing it in? You can blend just by pressing it in. You do not need to rub your skin or the product. And it just makes such a huge difference. I love it. And I'm really liking that bronzer. It's good for neutral and cool skin tones. Okay, so we've got the bronzer down. Did a slightly bit of contour. And now we're going to go in with... Oh, I'm going to grab a concealer brush. And we're going to do a little bit on the nose. Watch how I do this. I always wipe the initial part, anything that would be too much, in the cap. I have a bigger nose, so nose contour can be done very easily for me. My nose won't look too thin. I'm really not liking when you have a thinner nose doing the nose contour, because to me it just doesn't look right. But I do have a wider nose, so it's no trouble for me to want to make it a little bit thinner. So I'm going to be pressing this into the skin too. And then I'm going to go in with a brush that's got like a round end to it, because I don't want to spread the contour around. I just want to press it into the skin. So basically we're shading areas to make my nose look a little bit smaller. Okay, where's that brush? There it is. It's an EcoTools brush. It's round. And now watch. Circular motions. Just blending it in. We want to make sure everything looks like it belongs together. So you just want to take some extra time to go ahead and blend that in properly. And as you can see, it does make a difference. And I don't look like I have too thin of a nose. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of concealer on a tiny thin brush. And we're going to kind of highlight and lighten the bridge of the nose. I'm actually using the It Cosmetics concealer brush instead, because I already had some product on there and I don't need a lot. We just want to offset what we shaded and highlight the area that I'm highlighting right now, so you'll get a picture of a slightly slimmer nose, but it's also going to accent one part of my nose. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we're going into blush. This is my Ofra Ofra blush. I like this blush a lot. With a LaRousse brush, I'm just like tiny bit, barely touching it. Applying this blush. I think it is super pretty. We just want to make sure that when we're applying products over our foundation that it's not interrupting the foundation. That's why the routine is like so important, and the type of products you use is so important. If you're going to use a silicone-based foundation, you're definitely not going to want to wet your beauty blender.
So what did you think? Are you new? Are we friends now? I would love to get the opportunity to know you if this is your first time here. And of course, for my gems that already are here, I love hearing your feedback and reading your comments. So if you have any questions for me, put them down there. I'm going to try to do my very best to incorporate the products that I've used in the description box down below. But as always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments section and I will do my very best to answer them. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I do hope that this has become the beginning of a very beautiful, long friendship. And I will see you guys real soon. Bye.